Some of the biggest stars in Blacksburg are hitting the portal.
The 2026 college basketball season is officially in the books.
And Diamond Sports are in full swing.
All that and more on today's edition of 3304 Sports First Pitch.
Hello and welcome inside the Center for the Arts. I'm Robbie Ackerly, alongside Cole Jackson-Paige. And Cole, as we leave basketball season behind us, some Hokies are leaving Blacksburg behind them.
Yeah, both the men's and women's program have lost about 4 or 5 players so far, and then for the women's side, there's some fan favorites saying goodbye.
Well, growing up, I was big into video games, and Valve's Portal was one of my favorites. The idea was using your portal gun to create gateways to instantly jump around to different locations. Now, I'm not sure if Valve knows this, but they kind of predict the future of college sports. For more on the Hokies using their portal guns to jump around to different campuses, it's Landon Weaver.
As of today, over 1,300 women's basketball players have entered the transfer portal. But today, we're focusing on 2 that are relative to the Hokies. Mackenzie Nelson and Karis Baker both put out statements earlier in the week saying that they were transferring out of Blacksburg, Virginia. Now, considering that these 2 were 2 of Tech's 3 best players, this is not news that the fans wanted to hear. Nelson was one of the best point guards in the ACC. She boasted an assist-to-turnover ratio that was 1 tops in the conference and 6th in the country. As for Baker, she was honored as a second-team All-ACC member at the conclusion of the regular season. Now, behind Wenzel, the West Hartford, Connecticut native put up career best in both points and rebounds in the 2025-26 season. Both players were pivotal in the Hokies' run to the NCAA tournament and a first-round bout with Oregon that they fell 70-60. They'll be hard to replace, but the talent on this Virginia Tech roster is not lacking at all despite the unexpected transfer announcements. Wenzel, Suffren, Trent, and Jenkins all voiced their intention to return for the next season. That means they're returning their best starter, their best bench product, and 2 young bigs with an entire year of play under their belt. And with all that being said, I haven't even mentioned what some may call the most important returner on the current roster. The catch? She hasn't played a minute for the Maroon and Orange. Let's briefly discuss Kate Sears. The Hokies guard suffered a season-ending injury just days before the opening game. Now, she's back and ready to show Blacksburg and the rest of the ACC what she is all about. In high school, she was an absolute monster. 13 triple-doubles, 2 40-plus point performances, including 1 where she went for a half-century en route to a North Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year award. With Duffy capturing 5 major returnees, we'll have to see how she reloads from the portal with the losses of Baker and Nelson.
Thanks, Landon. Now, Robbie, let's zoom out of Blacksburg and take a look at the national landscape of basketball.
Yeah, earlier this week we saw Michigan recapture the national championship, a huge moment for them. And Cole, we saw history at the women's tournament.
Yeah, absolutely, Robbie. Now, how does it go? One shining moment, it's all on the line, and one shining moment, it's frozen in time. Now, I could go on and on, but this past women's tournament gave us a bunch of shining moments, and we saw a team bet on themselves, bringing home the title. More on UCLA running the table this year is our own Alex Kuchenmeister.
After previous struggles to get over the hump, the UCLA Bruins have captured their first ever women's basketball championship in the NCAA era. They defeated the South Carolina Gamecocks 79-51, and they were led by standout senior Lauren Betts. UCLA has been a consistent powerhouse in recent years, reaching the Sweet 16 or beyond every season since 2023. But it's been inopportune losses time after time that have prevented the Bruins from coming out on top in campaigns past. Let's take a look. Back in 2023, UCLA made it to the Sweet 16, but was promptly defeated by undefeated South Carolina, 59-43, familiar team there. Now, WNBA starting center Camila Cardoso, coming off the bench too, led the Gamecocks with 10 points on 4 of 7 shooting and added 2 blocks to her name. At the time, this loss was expected though. As a 4 seed, Southern California's team would have shocked the world if they were able to knock off that undefeated South Carolina squad. Now, 2 years ago, UCLA found itself in the Sweet 16 yet again, this time tasked with the 31-win LSU Tigers. Not a great matchup there in that game. This team is led by Angel Reese, Flau'jae Johnson, and Haley Van Lith. What a big 3 there. And they're coming off a national championship of their own. Johnson posted 24 points and 12 rebounds herself, but in her first year at UCLA, Betts contributed 14 points and 17 boards. Not bad for a sophomore. However, the Bruins ultimately lost 78-69. And we fast forward to last year. It was supposed to be the year. UCLA entered the tournament as the #1 overall seed. They made it all the way to the Final Four. They were cruising. The only problem? A nightmare matchup with the UConn Huskies, a team that put up 80 or more points in every game but one in that tournament. That trend, well, it continued against the Bruins as it was a 24-point win for the squad from Storrs. Paige Beckers, AZ Fudd, and Sarah Strong, the three of them combined for 57 points. On the losing end, Lauren Betts had an excellent individual performance yet again. This time she posted 26 points. But Betts lacked help. No other Bruins scored in double figures at all this game. So what changed this year? I call it the Senior Six, a group that scored every single point for UCLA, both in the Final Four and the championship games of the 2026 bracket. This rotation powered the Bruins to a 42% shooting day from three-point range and held South Carolina to just 13% from deep on the other end in the title game. UCLA's experience also shined in the win, as the seniors' premier passing led to a 23-9 advantage in the assist department. And you can't talk about this UCLA team without highlighting Lauren Betts. She went from being a young player, finding her footing with Stanford as a freshman, to becoming a stalwart leader and a cornerstone of this championship team. Although they went 37-1 and won the Women's National Championship, the Bruins accomplished so much more in 2026. They set a standard of excellence for not just their program, but the world of college basketball as well.
Thank you, Alex. Phenomenal work. So, Cole, with basketball in the books, let's turn our attention to the Diamond softball staying hot.
Yeah, for the softball team, they're coming up against a series win against Clemson 2-1 and then a big Radford win. Now, they got a big test ahead of them in ACC play versus Virginia.
Yeah, they've got the Commonwealth Clash coming up. But for the baseball team, Cole, it's been a little struggles lately.
Yeah, they're trying to find themselves into some type of flow this year, but it just hasn't been clicking. I think pitching's been like the highlight struggle so far this year. They just came off a series loss to Miami. They lost to Liberty this week, and now they head to Boston College this weekend to hopefully get into rhythm.
Yeah, Diamond sports are in full swing, and one Hokie in particular is starting to perfect his swing. No, it's not a senior, nor is it a junior or sophomore. Freshman Ethan Ball has taken Hokie Nation by storm this season. And for more on the first year playing, turning the heads of fans and pitchers alike, it's Richard Terry.
Virginia Tech baseball is trying to return to their 2022 form. At the time of this being filmed, Blacksburg has a 15-16 squad. But fortunately for Hokie fans, there is a freshman, Ball, laying out on the diamond. That's right, Ethan Ball. Some already know him as the walk-off hero from earlier in the season against Rutgers. But what if I told you he has been the best hitter for the Hokies? The true freshman has another month and some days before he reaches 19 years of age. His 18th year has certainly been something special. He hails from McLean, Virginia, and McLean High School. There, the second baseman earned the title of the #2 overall prospect in Virginia. Even before he stepped on campus, many eyes were on him. Let me tell you, he has lit those eyes up. Ball currently sports a .958 OPS. That's on base plus slugging. Simply put, when Ball meets barrel, good luck defense. His barrel is exhausted, by the way. 6 sledgehammer slams so far on the season for this hammer and Hokie. If Ball sticks around in Blacksburg, plenty more bombs are sure to come. I mean, look at these swings. 2 home runs in Coral Gables, going to left field and right. Oh, and the exit velos 102 and 108. Strong stuff from the freshman. But take a look at this homer against Duke. It might be even more impressive. Complete oppo taco for this baller, muscling one out at the 3:30 marker. Man, that's a real show of strength. But seriously, folks, I'm not just clip farming. Ball's name sits above the Hokie roster in multiple stats. He leads the team with a .310 batting average, the aforementioned 6 home runs, and a monster .558 slugging percentage. Swinging isn't all he can do either. Only 1 error in 86 attempts. That's a large part of the reason Ball owns the second most starts for the Hokies at 29. Coach Sheff noted early in the season that Ball has made some remarkable strides on the defensive side. The expectation for him coming in was to rake. He has shocked his teammates with the web gems he has made. Virginia Tech will look for this fearsome, dare I say it one more time, baller freshman to continue to grow. If he does, the Hokies' win total is sure to grow too.
Thanks, Richard. Now, Robbie, we got time for one more segment.
Indeed, we do, Cole, and it's a pretty simple one. We call it buy or deny. I'm going to shoot off a question. You're going to buy it or you're going to deny it, Cole, and then you do the same to me. First off, first question. Kimora Johnson coming to Hokie Land or what?
Now, I don't think this is going to happen. She was raised in Charlottesville, UVA for 3 years. There's still a chance that she could return to UVA with the new head coach from Richmond. But if I had to play a little devil's advocate, I mean, no Mackenzie Nelson, no Karis Baker, some of that money could go to Kimora Johnson. I'd be shocked if she didn't hear a phone call from Megan Duffy. Now, my question for you, is Mike Malone the savior at UNC?
I think absolutely not, Cole. I'm going to deny that. I think Billy Donovan would have been a better hire. I really don't think Mike Malone's going to be the guy. He got let go by the Nuggets for a reason, despite winning a championship. I don't think he's the guy to bring UNC back to glory. Well, that's all we have time for here in the Center for the Arts. For our reporters, Landon Weaver, Richard Terry, and Alex Kuchenmeister, I'm Robbie Ackerly. Been alongside Cole Jackson-Paige. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.